You feel a city first in your feet, then in your heart. In Zagreb, the story begins with the gentle, rhythmic shudder that travels from the cobblestones up through the soles of your shoes. It's the feeling of the blue tram, the city's electric bloodstream, gliding past. It is a sensation of smooth, steady, unhurried movement. And it is the perfect introduction to the character of the Croatian capital. Zagreb is not a city that shouts for your attention. It does not boast a world-famous singular monument like the Eiffel Tower or the Colosseum. Its allure is quieter, more complex, a charm that reveals itself in layers, like a story that must be patiently listened to, rather than just seen. This is a city of insides and outsides, a place whose true identity is found not just in its handsome public squares, but in the transition between the grand stage of its Austro-Hungarian avenues and the intimate, hidden life of its medieval courtyards. It is a city of two distinct halves, a literal upper and lower town, representing two different eras, two different states of mind. The Gornji Grad, the upper town, is a labyrinth of memory, a quiet hilltop village of gas lamps and government ministries. The Donji Grad, the lower town, is a grand, green, and rational vision of a 19th century metropolis. To understand Zagreb is to understand the dialogue between these two worlds, to learn the art of wandering the stairways and the funicular that connect them. It is a city that doesn't give up all its secrets at once. It presents itself as a jigsaw puzzle, and the immense pleasure of being here lies in slowly, thoughtfully putting the pieces together. Let us begin where the city itself began, on the high ground. The Gornji Grad, the upper town, is the city's attic, its acropolis, a place of condensed history where the modern world seems to fall away. For centuries, this was Zagreb. It was not one single entity, but a bitter rivalry between two fortified hills separated by the now paved-over Medvešćak stream. This foundational duality is the key to the city's entire story. On one hill stood Kaptol, the domain of the church. On the other stood Gradek, the royal free town of the merchants and craftsmen. Kaptol today is dominated by the dramatic, soaring form of the Cathedral of the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Its twin neo-Gothic spires, elegant and almost impossibly slender, are the city's most visible landmark, a beacon of faith visible from almost every corner of Zagreb. Yet, their beauty is a story of both triumph and fragility. The cathedral is a palimpsest of history, built upon the foundations of earlier churches dating back to the 11th century. It has been ravaged by Tartar invasions and fires, and rebuilt in different styles. The current neo-Gothic form is largely the result of a major restoration in the late 19th century by the architect Hermann Boll, following a devastating earthquake. In March 2020, another earthquake shook the city, and the top of one of the cathedral's iconic spires broke off and fell to the ground. Today, the spires and much of the cathedral are encased in a web of scaffolding. This is not a sign of decay, but of defiance. The ongoing, painstaking restoration has become a powerful symbol of Zagreb's resilience, its determination to heal its wounds and preserve its soul. To see the cathedral now is not to see a diminished monument, but to witness a city actively caring for its heart. Within its walls, you can still find treasures that have survived the centuries. Magnificent Baroque altars, the tomb of the controversial Cardinal Stepiniak, and a treasury filled with priceless religious artifacts. It remains the spiritual anchor of the city and the nation. A short walk from the cathedral brings you to the second of the city's founding hills, Gradek. The transition from Kaptol to Gradek is best made through the Kamenita Vrata, the stone gate. This is the last surviving gate of the old Gradek town walls, but it is far more than a simple historical monument. It is one of the most intimate and moving sacred spaces in Zagreb. In 1731, a great fire destroyed much of the wooden gate, but according to legend, a painting of the Virgin and Child was found in the ashes, completely unscathed. The painting was immediately deemed miraculous and placed within the archway of the rebuilt gate. It has been transformed into a unique open-air chapel, a public shrine where people come at all hours to light a candle, to pray, or to simply sit in quiet contemplation. The stone walls are covered in hundreds of small marble plaques, inscribed with the word "Hala," thank you, left by those whose prayers have been answered. To pass through the stone gate is to feel the deep, personal, and living faith of the city, a faith that is not confined to the grandeur of the cathedral, but is woven into the very fabric of daily life. From the stone gate, you emerge into the quiet, gaslit, cobblestone streets of Gradek. This was the secular heart of Old Zagreb, a royal free town granted its charter by King Bela IV of Hungary in 1242. This charter, the Golden Bull, granted the citizens of Gradek significant autonomy, including the right to govern themselves and hold markets in return for fortifying their town against the threat of Tatar invasion. This history of civic pride and independence is palpable in the atmosphere of the upper town. The center of Gradek is St. Mark's Square, one of the most iconic and symbolically charged spaces in all of Croatia. The square is dominated by the unforgettable site of St. Mark's Church. The church itself is a beautiful Gothic structure, but its fame comes from its extraordinary roof, laid in the 19th century with brightly colored tiles that form two magnificent coats of arms. On the left is the medieval coat of arms of Croatia, Dalmatia, and Slavonia. On the right is the emblem of the city of Zagreb. The church is not just a place of worship. It is a vibrant declaration of national and civic identity. The square is the political heart of the nation, flanked by the modest but handsome buildings of the Croatian parliament, the Sabor, and the government palace. It is here that the fate of the nation is debated and decided. The rest of Gradek invites wandering. It is a district of quiet palaces, hidden courtyards, and charming details. At its southern edge stands the Latrasak Tower, a robust 13th century fortification. Every day, precisely at noon, a cannon is fired from its upper window. The Grek cannon's blast, a tradition dating back to the 19th century, startles tourists and reassures locals, its boom rolling across the entire city. It is another of the rituals that marks time in Zagreb. Near the tower, a tiny funicular, one of the shortest in the world, provides a quaint link to the lower town below. But to truly appreciate the Gornji Grad, one must also discover its quirks, like the utterly unique Museum of Broken Relationships. Housed in a beautiful Baroque palace, this museum is a crowd-sourced collection of objects and stories, each one a poignant, funny, or heartbreaking memento of a past love affair. It is a profoundly human and surprisingly moving testament to the stories that all our lives contain. To descend from the upper town to the lower town, the Donji Grad, is to travel forward several centuries in a matter of minutes. You leave behind the intimate, labyrinthine world of the medieval city and enter a grand, elegant, and rationally planned 19th century metropolis. The development of the Donji Grad was spurred by the same 1880 earthquake that prompted the Great Restoration of the cathedral. The disaster cleared the way for a new vision of Zagreb as a modern European capital, a city to rival Vienna or Budapest. The result is a masterpiece of urban planning, a district of handsome apartment buildings, grand public institutions, and a series of beautiful interconnected parks known as the Lanucci Horseshoe. This green horseshoe is the organizing principle of the lower town, a U-shaped ribbon of parks and squares that provides the district with its elegant, airy character. To walk the horseshoe is to experience the ambition of 19th century Zagreb. One might start at Zrinjevalch Park, a beautiful garden square with century-old plane trees, fountains, and a charming old music pavilion that still hosts concerts on summer weekends. From there, the path leads past the Croatian Academy of Sciences and Arts to King Tomislav Square, a grand space dominated by the magnificent yellow art pavilion and an equestrian statue of Croatia's first king. At the southern end of the horseshoe is the imposing neoclassical main railway station, the grand portal through which so many visitors first entered the city. The western flank of the horseshoe is lined with equally impressive institutions, including the State Archives and the Botanical Garden. It culminates in what is arguably the most beautiful square in Zagreb, the Republic of Croatia Square, formerly Marshal Tito Square. This is the city's theatrical and academic heart. It is dominated by the glorious mustard yellow building of the Croatian National Theatre, designed by the famous Viennese architects Ferdinand Feltner and Hermann Helmer, who built theaters across Central Europe. It is a magnificent neo-Baroque confection, a temple to the performing arts. In front of it stands Ivan Mestrovich's powerful sculpture, The Well of Life. The entire square, with its surrounding university buildings and museums, has the feeling of a grand European cultural forum. The architecture of the Donji Grad is a harmonious blend of the stately historicism favored by the Austro-Hungarian Empire and the more playful, decorative forms of Art Nouveau, or Secessionism as it was known here. Many of the apartment buildings are adorned with floral motifs, elegant ironwork, and expressive sculptures, a testament to the prosperous bourgeoisie who built their homes in this new fashionable part of the city. While the upper town holds the city's political and spiritual history and the lower town its grand cultural institutions, the true daily pulse of Zagreb is found elsewhere. It is found in its markets and in its cafés. The most important of these is the Dolac market, located on a raised square just behind the main Ban Jelačić Square, forming a vibrant link between the upper and lower towns. Dolac is, quite simply, the belly of the city. It is a riot of color, sound, and scent. The most iconic feature is the sea of traditional red, heart-mittered umbrellas, the Sestinski kisobrani, that shelter the stalls. Underneath these umbrellas you will find the kumais, the market women from the villages surrounding Zagreb, who have been bringing their fresh produce to the city for centuries. They sell seasonal fruits and vegetables, homemade cheeses, honey, and flowers. Below the open-air market is a covered hall for butchers and a separate fish market, bringing the bounty of the Adriatic to this inland capital. Dolac is more than just a place to buy food. It is a vital social hub, a place of connection between the city and the countryside, a daily ritual that defines Zagreb's character as a place that values fresh, real food. If Dolac is the city's belly, then its cafés are its soul. Zagreb possesses one of Europe's most profound and dedicated coffee cultures. Here, having a kava is not a rushed, functional act of refueling, it is the primary social ritual. It is an art form, an excuse to sit for hours with friends, to talk, to read the newspaper, to watch the world go by. The pinnacle of this ritual is the spika, the Saturday morning promenade. On a sunny Saturday, the outdoor terraces of the cafés along streets like Bogovicheva and Predović Square become a vast open-air living room, a place for seeing and being seen. Perhaps the most charming street for a coffee or a drink is Tkalčićeva Street. This long, winding street follows the path of the old Medvječka stream that once separated the rival hills of Kaptol and Gradek. For centuries, this was a street of craftsmen, millers, and, notoriously, the city's red light district. Today, its colorful, low-slung houses have been transformed into a continuous strip of lively bars, cafes, and restaurants. Its vibrant bohemian atmosphere and its purely pedestrian nature make it one of the most beloved and atmospheric streets in the city. This vibrant, life-affirming culture has been forged through a history that has often been difficult. The complexities of the 20th century, from the turbulent Yugoslav era to the Croatian War of Independence in the 1990 Seki, have left an indelible mark on the city's psyche. While Zagreb was largely spared from direct combat during the war, it lived through a period of immense national struggle and uncertainty. The peace and stability of the past decades are therefore not taken for granted. They are cherished. This history has fostered a strong sense of national identity, but also a deep understanding of the importance of community, and the simple pleasures of a peaceful life. More recently, the city faced a different kind of trauma. The devastating earthquake of March 2020, followed by other tremors, caused significant damage to its historic heart. The scars are still visible, most notably on the cathedral, but also in the cracks on older buildings and the ongoing restoration projects. Yet, the city's response has been one of characteristic resilience. The long process of rebuilding is not just a structural necessity, it has become a communal project, a reaffirmation of the city's love for its own heritage and its determination to heal. In the final analysis, Zagreb reveals itself to be a profoundly inward-facing capital. Unlike coastal cities that look out to the sea, Zagreb's gaze is turned upon itself, upon its own squares, its hidden courtyards, its complex history, and the rich social life of its citizens. It is not a city that reveals all its charms at once from a grand viewpoint. It is a city that must be walked into, experienced at street level. Its beauty lies in the discovery of its pieces, the sudden quiet of the stone gate after leaving a busy street, the magnificent open vista of the green horseshoe after emerging from a narrow lane, the taste of fresh cheese bought directly from a kumaka at Dolac, the simple, profound pleasure of a perfectly brewed coffee on a sun-drenched terrace. Zagreb is a city that rewards the curious wanderer. It is a place that feels less like a checklist of tourist sites and more like a great, complex, and deeply humane European capital waiting to be known. Its story is one of resilience, of the careful preservation of its past, and of an unwavering belief in the civilized, life-affirming pleasures of community, conversation, and a good cup of coffee.